Welcome everybody to today's episode of the Real Relationship Talk. We are going to have a couple special guests today that we are going to talk about health. And we talk a lot about wealth building, we talk about relationships, but today if we're going to talk about health because it's a crucial part of your well-being, how you show up in life, how you show up with your kids, your family, how you show up for yourself. And we tend to neglect us, right? We don't put the work in that we need to be healthy, to be fit, and to show up for our family the way we need to be. And so I'm going to introduce our guest, Coach Tony Drake. He is a fat and weight loss expert. He has lost himself over 130 pounds, super impressive, over 32% body fat. As you can see, he's awfully fit. And he has helped over 1,600 people in the last 4 years. So I don't know about you, but I want to jump on that bandwagon. When I see the results and people that have actually had proven results, I'm going to stop everything right now and listen up. Get your notepad, get ready, because we have the special guests tonight that are going to tell you the proven system to get fit today. Not hard at all. So without further ado, Coach Tony Drake, I'm turning it over to you. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Coach Cindy. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. Yeah, like you said, just being able to help people make a lifestyle change, right? And being able to drop 130 pounds myself. And I went through two weight loss transitions. So I went from being really fat at 335 pounds. I lost 80 pounds in 1 year, kept it off for 12 years, and gained all the way back. And then I went through that transition again. So I went from fat to fit, back to fat again, and then made a complete lifestyle change for good. And during that course of time, I was able to learn so much from the experience of both the fat side and then the fit side. And what I've learned from all of that, and we're talking about 2 decades of failing, trying, learning, repeating the same mistakes over and over, looking for the quick fixes, finally got it down to very few simple things. And now it's my mission, my goal, my passion to help people from all over the world make the same lifestyle change and get from where they are to where they want to be. And I know a lot of people are struggling out there. It all starts here with mentality. Everything that I've gone through, I am ready to teach, continuing to teach people, help them make that same lifestyle change. So I'm excited.
I love it. I know that I personally have struggled with weight over the years. We do the yo-yo, right? We go up and down, up
Hmm.
and down. We try everything. As a society, we want a quick fix, right? We want it
Hmm.
fast. If we don't see results fast, okay, I'm just going to eat that cake because it's not working,
Yeah.
and that was me. And I know that, we have a lot of women, speaking from us women, we go through a lot of body changes, right? Our weight loss, to gaining weight, to having babies, through marriage, through
Hmm.
divorce, through stress, through work, you name it. Our
Yeah.
bodies are our temple. And if we're not
Hmm.
respecting our bodies, how are we going to do it? So take us through how you help people and what that looks like.
Yeah. And there's two things that were left out. I was like, okay, let me see if she said it. The other thing too is perimenopause and menopause, right? And so the women go through so many different changes, and and I'm just speaking because 82% of my clients and audience are women, right? And so being able to help them go through this journey through all those stages of life that you mentioned, it's going to be a lot of changes. But if you have that accountability, if you have that structure, if you have that system, yes, we're going to have setbacks. You're going to face a lot of things, but you still need to take care of self. And if that's what you're looking to get help with, then I can be able to do that help. I can be able to provide the help for you. And it all starts with the mentality first, right? You said we're all looking for that quick fix, right? We want it right now. We want it yesterday. But we also have to remember mentally, did this change happen overnight? Did this change happen to me within a week? No, it took time. So if we start there and say, you know what, it took time for me to get to where I don't want to be, I know it's going to take me a little bit of time to get to where I need to be. Right there, you've already accepted that. And now you're not looking for the quick fix. because a quick fix leads into a long-term disaster. And we don't want that because then we yo-yo, we try something, we look for this, we look for that, we're asking the wrong people, we're going the wrong way, we're taking the wrong advice, and then we go, you know what, nothing works for me. Well, there is something that works for you, but it all starts here first, right? And if we can't start with this first, we can't get to the next step. So the first step is saying, okay, I know it's going to take some time, but I need to focus on me as long as I'm alive on this planet. Because if I can't take care of me first, how am I expected to take care of my kids, my career, my significant other, et cetera, right? So that's where it starts first.
I love it. Speaking of me first, I founded mefirstnow.com. And so that
Yeah,
is about taking care of yourself first before you can
right,
take care of anything else. Anywhere
right.
from your family all the way to your career, and loving on you and learning how to really dive into self-love. So
Hmm.
Me First Now is a holistic healing
Yes.
on just your inner self, changing your mindset, developing a new way of thinking that
Hmm.
sometimes we just are conditioned to think a certain way, right?
Right,
And so taking care of our health, being able to change our mindset is key in all
hmm,
areas of life, but
right,
especially it starts with us and taking care of us.
right.
Why do you think? Well, first of all, I'm glad you brought up menopause because I left that out. But this is the very reason that we're going to be meeting Dexter later. But I
Hmm.
met Dexter, and I was actually going through menopause at 49 years old.
Hmm.
About a year ago, I was rushed to the hospital. I was bleeding internally. I didn't know, but I had a ruptured cyst on my ovary, and I
Hmm.
was bleeding out, and I was in excruciating pain. And they
Hmm.
threw me into emergency surgery, and they told me I couldn't have any more kids. They couldn't save the ovary. So it
Hmm.
threw me at 49 into menopause, out of
Hmm.
control menopause. And when I'm talking hot flashes to brown spots all over my face, you see my face today, it did not look like that. And it's
Hmm.
because of what we're going to talk about today that I got on the bandwagon and said, if you got a fix for this, please help me. And
Hmm.
sure enough, I followed the regimen, and that's why I am so passionate about it today. Um,
Hmm.
Tell me about some of your ups and downs that you've seen through your clients and working through the mindset reboot. I talk about the reboot of your mindset all the time, and where
Yeah.
it starts and how.
Yeah. So one of the main things is we always like to start by hearing somebody's story, right? Whenever I get a new client on, I speak to them and I say, okay, what's your biggest situation that you're facing? Right. And they'll say, okay, my significant doesn't like the way I look. I don't like the way I look. Right. I don't feel comfortable in my clothes. And I take all the notes down because I really want to know this person and help them from start to finish. Right. It's not a number. Oh, okay, you over here. Yeah, let's go. I have this carbon copy program. No, it's customized for every single person. Right. So once I hear their story and I find out the biggest problems, I'm saying, okay, well, I have a system, I have a structure, and you have my accountability to solve those problems. So once they get started, the initial feeling that I get from each and every person is excitement, scared, nervousness, because it's a change, right? We don't know what to expect, what's going to happen. And that first week, man, that excitement and the nervousness and scared and like, oh, okay, what's going to go down? What's going to happen? Turns into like, oh my God, I can't believe this has happened already.
Mm,
It's working, right? So now that they may see a jump, somebody could lose 5 to 7 pounds, 3 pounds their first week, right? And so now what's happening is they kind of expect that every week. But I let them know right up front, this isn't going to happen every week. Your body's going into shock. So I'm teaching them throughout their journey that your body's going to go into shock, but we're still going to maneuver through this journey together. Because when you don't see this change, I don't want you to be like, oh no, what happened? Right? Because it brings you back. And I don't want to have you start back. I want to keep you going forward. So I teach you and educate you along the way. So one of the biggest challenges that a lot of people face is the number on the scale. And if I can, for a little bit, just share my addiction that I had, which was with the scale. So when I lost 130 pounds, on the second transition, I actually got too small. I know it sounds weird, but I got too small because I wanted to see a number, right? And so when I saw the number of 205 pounds, I'm like, wow, like I did it. But I look at pictures from the past and I just look frail. I look sleepy. I look deprived of just like food. And even my wife was like, I don't even want to see you this way. Like, you just look too thin. Like, you look like a bobblehead with your big old head. And I'm like, and I look back and I go, yeah, I agree what you're saying because I was so addicted to the number. But the scale only tells us that, the number, right? So I have to, so I took that. I'm like, you know what? I have to start teaching people non-scale victories. Oh, your pants are fitting bigger or they're looser. Good, right? People are complimenting you. Good. You have more energy. Good. You're looking at photos from the past and you already noticed a change. Good. Put those in your head and work with that during the course of your journey because that's going to give you a lot more victories and more mental praise than just that number because that's all it's showing you, right? So these are the things that I help each and every person with. But the main thing is just to feel better, to look better, and to get to where they want to be. Another thing is any type of medications, any type of ailments that people have, I help them with that too, right? Because I mean, we could talk about this later on, but let's be 100% here. I still have not met one person that has taken medication and their problems have been solved when it comes to health. Not one.
Speaking of that, I did a little research before we got on here, and it said
Yeah.
half of the adults in the U.S. have one of the three ailments: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or damage to their blood vessels due to smoking. And
Yeah.
I was taken back because I had no idea. I know that when I first started this journey,
Hmm.
I was on high blood pressure medicine. Thankfully, I'm no longer taking it because of what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yep.
But it's changed. It's changed my mindset about medicine. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a band aid. It is not a fix to your problem. If you
Right.
could fix the problem and get off medicine, how more far ahead are you? And
Right.
if you're not listening now, or you have somebody that you know is sick or dealing with diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, any ailment, depression,
Hmm.
anxiety, you've got to go get them on to take a look at this because you're going to be blown away on how the transition from ailments that you had to health and being healthy and having energy, how it quickly can happen just by
Hmm.
you dedicating some time into yourself. And so,
Right.
talk to us about, the number one thing I think of is the support system. I know we need
Hmm.
an accountability partner in a lot of things we do, whether it's
Hmm.
exercise, diet, but our support system. Say we have a family who
Hmm.
is, a family of four. I'm on the journey of, helping myself, but my family refuses to. They want to eat
Hmm.
out
Hmm.
or they want to eat this other stuff. How do I balance that? And what do you tell your clients?
Oh man, this one right here, this is a good one. Let me do something real quick. Let me just unplug this headset. I'm about to take this headset.
Okay, he's put his headset back on. We cannot hear you. Oh no.
Now,
Now we can
yes,
hear you.
yes, there we go. All right, get that junk out of there. Okay, so now here's the thing. So let's just say there's a family of four. The people who are closest to you are always going to give you the hardest time. They will, right? It's oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Well, you don't even know half of the stuff that I'm doing, right? You all of a sudden they become the expert when you want to take this lifestyle change. When you want to go in a different direction from someone who's the closest to you, they're going to give you a little flack. They're going to give you a little bit of, expert talk or that advice of, I wouldn't do that if I were you. But the main thing is that you got to look at yourself first. Remember, we talked about taking care of self. So when you're taking care of self, you have to let the results show because I could talk my way as much as I can to my significant other, my wife, my kids. whoever it may be who's the closest to me. But the results are going to speak a lot louder than me trying to convince them. So I have to just keep on going. It's me versus me first. People will say, oh, that's kind of selfish. Really? Me taking care of myself first, that's selfish? Wow. That's really selfish of you to actually say that when you know that I'm trying to take care of myself for the better. I'm not doing anything dangerous. So what happens is you have to let the results speak for itself. And when that happens, they start to say, how did you do that? Well, remember when you were giving me all that, heat for taking care of me first and coming up with, a simple structure and being able to have this simple journey. Remember that? Yeah, it's actually working. Oh, well, can you teach me? Oh, now you want to come over and try to get, some information. Gotcha. Thanks. Let me turn this light on real fast. This is what I love about going live.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all
lights go off. They're on a timer. You got to wave your hand. You got to move around. You never know what happens on lives.
Yeah, you know what? And here's a cool thing about lives with this is that, like, I like stuff like this. I could just stay like this, and I have my screen light on behind me. If you don't mind, I could just stay like this because it's not turning. I'm over here thinking on Michael Jackson when he did Thriller, like the zombies. It is what it is.
Fine, you're good.
Yeah, so I mean, you really got to let the results speak for itself. And once they start to see those changes, they start to ask how. And it's not really how, it's more who. You had to become someone different during this whole journey. You have to face those criticisms or that critique that's going to come from other people. But that's only going to make you stronger. If you got to tell yourself, remember, you got to tell yourself something that's going to say, you know what, that is okay with being this way. You got to tell yourself, at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, am I doing this for them or am I doing this for me? Because they're going to go on with their life with or without. But I have to do this for me first. Because when the results come, they will then ask me later. But if I keep putting myself last to put their feelings first, I'll never get to where I want to be. So I have to make this change.
I think, and I know you're on an entrepreneurial journey as well, I'm sure, right? And as entrepreneurs, we tend to have already adapted this mentality because a lot of the times we get slack from our family. Our support system is very, very small because it's like, you're never going to make anything doing that. Why are you wasting your time? Or the results aren't coming fast enough for, them to say, I'm making this money or I have this amount of clients. And so we have to strongly believe and really believe that we're going to do it and make a commitment to ourselves. Because if we don't, any little thing will take us over the edge and we'll quit or we won't go back.
Oh, yeah. And when we do that, when we quit, who do we resent? Right? We start to look at them and go, I can't believe you made me quit. No, you quit. You gave in to their advice. So you got to look in the mirror and say, you know what? Yeah, I got to start over again. But this time I'm not going to listen to their advice because, I mean, let's face it. A lot of people, even the closest one to us, are not on the same journey. They can't experience and share that same passion that we have for our business, for our health. They can't share that with us. So, yeah, we may be talking about it as excited as you are. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure. And you're like, oh, maybe I should just quit. Really? Wow. Like they're going to keep going with or without you. So you might as well do it and just let them give you all that noise, but you just got to persevere through it. Every single one of us has gone through that.
And we're going to get into, I know everybody's wondering, what are you guys talking about? What is this that they can do to get healthy?
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. Talk to us about what it is and what this does and how it transforms people's lives.
Oh, man. Yeah. So let's talk about that. So it's interesting because let me just start by this. We're in the information era. We're in the too much information era. Right. And so as simple as I can make this, somebody will see this and go, nah, that doesn't sound right. And they'll make it more complex than what it actually is. Right. I'm a big believer of intermittent fasting. When I went on my second transition of losing the rest of the weight and the body fat, I started doing intermittent fasting on a daily basis. right? And at the time, I was drinking a lot of black coffee. I was drinking so much black coffee that I started getting a lot of sharp pain in the back of my head. Like my ears, they kept throbbing, and I kept getting like these little sharp flash like headaches. And I was drinking about 4 to 6 cups of coffee a day. I wake up at 2:45 a.m. every morning, and I have to go throughout the whole day. So it's like, okay, I'm drinking a little bit too much, and it's actually backfiring. I'm getting up late at night to go use the bathroom. It's interrupting my sleep, and I was just a hot mess. But I still wanted to do this intermittent fasting. So when I went on TikTok a while back, I saw this guy talking about this tea. And I'm like, okay, like I like tea, but what is he talking about? And I kept seeing his videos pop up over and over and over. Excuse me for the green light. And he's talking about fasting. And I'm like, okay, like I'm a big believer in intermittent fasting. Let me hear what this brother has to say. So as he kept talking about it, I'll say, you know what? Let me see if I can do a podcast interview with him and talk more about fasting. Long story short, he was like, hey, like if you want to, I love fasting. And right now I'm doing this thing. It's called Unamati. Have you heard of it? I was like, no, I've heard of yerba mate. He's like, yeah, but that's different. Yerba mate has sugar in there. This won't break your fast. And I was like, this won't break your fast? He's like, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. I've been approached by other companies. I won't say it on here, but I've been approached by other companies to say, hey, come jump in with us and learn more about this. The first question I always ask them is, does this product break your fast? And they were like, unfortunately, it does. And I said, so no, I can't mess with that because I'm a big believer in that. And this is what's helped my clients from all over the world get to where they want to be. So that's step number one. So he told me about the Unamati, right? Sorry for if it's a little blurry there, but he told me about the Unamati and how it helps with intermittent fasting. And when you sip on that during your fasting window, it helps with appetite suppressant, it helps with focus, energy, etc. Like, okay, well, let me give it a shot. If I take it for 30 days, I'm all in because I'm already thinking, who else can I help? Who else can I serve? Day 20, I was like, I'm in. And that's where it all started, right? So it started as a fluke, wanting to do a podcast with the guy. Next thing you know, I'm now on the Unamati, and I've been doing this now since January of 2023. So going on month 19 now. And then the second product, the Balance, simple protocol. It's just these two products, right? I always carry them with me too. Right. And I'm sorry, it's a little dreamy looking there, but the second one is the Balance. Now, I have a video that I've done on TikTok, and it seemed like it went viral. I think it has like 1.6 million views. And there was a lot of comments and questions because one of the biggest problems that people have is how to break their fast. So when they are doing their fasting, they're like, okay, yeah, this is kind of cool. Sorry about that. This is kind of cool. But when I break my fast, it doesn't seem like it's working. I'm like, well, what are you breaking your fast with? Oh, I break my fast with, chips or fries or whatever. I'm like, okay. So when I found out about the Balance and how the Balance comes with the 7 different fibers, the vitamins and the minerals, and it's actually giving your body what it's needing because your body has been robbed from the foods that you consume on a daily basis. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So when I teach people now about the product, they take it on a daily basis. They're like, I'm fasting, I'm feeding. After I eat, I'm not feeling bloated. Is that normal? Yeah. You know why? And then I teach them why, right? And then when you're fasting and you go back to your fasting window, your body gets to rest, recover, restore, and rejuvenate. It's not working, so your body's repairing. And this is how all the stuff starts to go away, all the symptoms. What? Are you serious? Yeah. Well, my doctor said, I'm like, yeah. Well, your doctor says this because their job is to push pills. My job is to help you solve the root problem with 2 simple products and being consistent. Now I'm going to help you with accountability. Really? Yeah. Okay. So as this continues to go on, women who are perimenopausal, going through menopause, I have men who have high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetic, women going through the same thing, women with eczema, alopecia. When they take a shower and they're washing their hair, they're pulling out handfuls of hair. All of that stuff has been reversed because we're taking care of the root problem. Sorry.
If we can back up just for a second.
Yeah.
A lot of people may be thinking, okay, this sounds great, but what the heck is fasting? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Break it down. Let's go backwards for everyone watching and tell them, take us through an average day of what fasting is and what that looks like and when you would take the product.
Yeah. So fasting, I like to make it very short and simple. You have a fasting window and a feeding window. A fasting window is when you do not eat anything or drink anything that's going to cause your stomach to start working. Because when your stomach starts to work, your insulin has to move to get started to start working to break the foods down. So if you take coffee and you add like a protein powder in there or a protein drink or milk, your body has to work to break that down. So your fasting is technically over. But if you have the unamati, your body doesn't have to work to break this down. It's going to digest through the liver, right? Because the amount of calories in there is not enough for it causes your insulin to spike. So when you're doing that, let's say you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you sip on your unamati while you're fasting, you drink your water, making sure you're staying hydrated. Your body is recovering, repairing itself because it's not working. Now, let's just say you're like, okay, I'm not really feeling hungry because I'm sipping on the unamati, and it's actually helping me like not feel hungry. It's actually working. So when you are ready to eat, let's say you eat at 11 o'clock, right? You have meal number one at 11. So now you know, let's do even with even numbers and odd with odd numbers. I'm going to give myself an 8-hour feeding window and a 16-hour fasting window. And the fasting window includes sleep because you're not eating when you're sleeping unless you're a sleepwalker and you just happen to walk to the refrigerator. But more times than not, you're sleeping. And so now you're still fasting. So if you eat your first meal at 11, 7 p.m., even and even, odd and odd, 7 p.m. gives you an 8-hour feeding window, right? If you do 12 p.m., then 8 p.m. is going to be, your 8-hour feeding window. So with that, you have your first meal, you take your balance right before you eat your first meal. Now your fasting window is over because it's in working mode. It has to start breaking the foods down, right? It has to digest, it has to work through, right? And so now you give yourself 8 hours. You don't have to eat the whole 8 hours, but you give yourself an 8-hour feeding window. You consume your food. You're not on a diet. I don't believe in diets because people get on a diet and then they get off of a diet, right? This is all about food freedom. You eat your foods, but you're giving your body finally what it needs with the balance when you break your fast. So this pretty much does all the work for you when you're eating. And then you have your meal. You wait a while in between meals. You have your second meal, maybe 3 to 4 hours later, because your body's finally getting what it needs. It's nourished. It's not just full. And then when you have your second meal, you just repeat the same process. You have your last meal of the day. You close up your feeding window. You go right back into your fasting window. And that is it.
And the results are there. Tell us about some results that you've worked with, actually, over 1,600 people. Tell us a little bit about their results and what you've seen.
Oh, man. So the first person that I ever had try it and succeed was my mother, right? Yeah. And so my mother is 75 years young, and she's had high blood pressure. She struggled with her weight up and down for many years, right? And so I said, Mom, you just got to give this a shot, right? I started in January. I just want you to try it. I actually like it. She's like, okay. She's like, what do I have to eat? And I was like, just eat whatever. There's no diets. And so she had plantar fasciitis in her foot. She had 2 hip replacement surgeries like a couple years prior to that. So gym was out of the question, right? Walking on a daily basis, that was a little tough for her because of the plantar fasciitis. But she started it in February of 2023. And in November of 2023, she lost 64 pounds. She dropped 4 dress sizes. High blood pressure is no more. Way more energy at 75. And so whenever I show her before and after picture, people are like, that's your mom? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, she's 75. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, they're like, whoa, she looks phenomenal. She looks beautiful. And I'm like, thanks. But, I look back and I go, she gave me life and I helped save her life. Right. And so it's one of those things where to see her body transformation, to see her mindset transform and go, I'm in this for life. That's where it all started. So then I started talking to more people who are dealing with menopause, perimenopause, dealing with those who have high blood pressure, dealing with obesity, dealing with belly fat, fat loss. Because a lot of questions that I get is, how do I burn belly fat? right? And I'm like, well, let's talk about burning body fat, which includes the belly and anywhere else, because a lot of people may have like the arms where it's a little more hangy, right? And people want to lose weight, but the thing is that weight includes muscle and water. You want to concentrate on burning fat, right? Because the skin has to stick to something when you start to shrink down. So when I teach people about how to do that on that simple protocol, they're like, oh, okay. So yeah, I am burning more body fat. And I noticed that I have more energy. Well, good. So it started with my mom. She lost the inches. Blood pressure is back to normal. She also lost she went down 4 dress sizes. I've had women who have eczema, dry skin, little rashes. Their skin is starting to clear up. No more eczema. I've had women, like I said before, she washed her hair. She had 2 handfuls of hair. 3 weeks later, no more handfuls of hair. There have been women who have gone through like hard time sleeping at night. They finally starting to sleep better because their gut is being taken care of, right? And so those are just a few. High blood pressure, pre-diabetic, A1C levels are back to normal. Hair follicles are thickening back up, right? There's been so many success cases to where it's just been like, wow, like, tell me more, tell me more. Like I get testimonials from people all the time. Tell me more. And I do a Feel Great Friday in my own community of those who are taking the product and they're sharing their own story. And it's just like, people are like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty simple.
It's so simple,
Yeah.
but that people don't do it, right? That they're looking at it right now. They're listening like, wow, that sounds so good. But they're still not going to get on the bandwagon. They're still going to go to McDonald's or they're going to go eat some crap. And they're still going to take their medicine at night. And they're still going to be going to the pharmacy to get those refills. Why wouldn't you take back control of your health and stop giving it? I mean, we all have our own ideas and opinions about the healthcare system. But honestly, I have, my background is 20 years law enforcement. I was in the healthcare field for about 5 years. So pharmaceuticals, you ever talk about partnership? They're in a partnership. One leads the other, right? And it's a cycle. So if we can, if you need the medicine, that's one thing. But if you can do something, try something a little different and it works and you're able to get your levels down, let me just tell you a little bit, because within 30 days, I actually took blood work before I started the Unimonte. And within 30 days, I was feeling good. I was looking better. I had this glow in my skin. It was all the compliments you were saying, that you start noticing. The pounds were not, my scale didn't move, but I learned, put the scale away, just stop. Right? It's gonna show when you're over there putting them cute jeans on or that shirt on, and people are gonna notice. And then you will get noticed.
Right.
But the pounds will drop off, right? It will happen. You just have to believe that it's gonna happen and not give up and keep going. So tell us how people can get this, how they can contact you. Do you do virtual coaching as well?
Yes, I do virtual coaching as well. All of my handles are coaching by Drake, all one word. And so they can reach out to me. I would say the quickest way would be through Instagram. And so coaching by Drake there. I do a lot of voice messaging or video messaging because it just happens to be a lot quicker than just, turbo thumbs. So that would be a great way to reach me. And then from there, if they have questions, then I can definitely answer the questions because I like to make it simple, right? And I'm all about who can I help and serve. And so that's where they can reach me. If I could go back real fast when you were saying that people were being like, well, I want to go through, get my McDonald's and I'm going to take my pills, my medication. Now it's like, I'm going to get my Starbucks. I'm going to get my caramel frappuccino because it tastes good. Right. But these pills, I have to take these because that's what the doctor said. And the sad part is that they're misinformed because of marketing. Right. Marketing makes things look so good that you're just like, man, I got to give it a shot. Right. Literally give it a shot. So that's a whole nother topic that I talk about that I'm just so anti when it comes to people using it for the weight loss effect. However, when people are used to a certain way of living, it's going to be a little bit more work to get them to change their mentality because they've been marketed to so well that they're just used to it. It's actually like you're just a number, right? So when they have that same day in and day out, I get my Starbucks at 7:30, then I go to work, and then I have my bagel, and then I have my snacks. And they don't know their insulin is just going like this all day. Everything just tastes good.
Mm.
But these pills will take care of the problem, no problem. Yeah, right. So it takes more work to say, okay, yeah, actually need to do something for a change, and let's see how this works. But then again, you have that other obstacle of people saying, well, how do I know if it's going to work for me? Well, how long will it take? Right? How quick will I see the results? Right? It goes back to that wanting that quick fix. So people start to ask these questions of how long will it take? How easy is this? How quick will it be? Do I have to be on this forever? Well, you've been taking pills for the last 20 years, player. So you've been taking that for quite some time, and now you're worried about this? Come on now. Like, let's make this make sense in a simple way. So it does take time, but I think some people do get it. Some people, if it's not for them, if they feel like it's not for them, I'm not going to push it. That's their own consequence. They're all adults. We're all adults.
Right. And I always say, how long did it take you to get that heavy? Or how long have you been on that medicine? Give us that time.
Yeah.
Give us that time. If you've been taking medicine 20 years, I guarantee you give us less than 20 months and you're going to be totally changed. But let me tell you, when I started taking it, within 30 days, I noticed the difference. Mm-hmm. Within 3 months, my blood levels were normal. My doctor said, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Whatever you're doing, keep it up. Because what I didn't mention is, for the last 5 years, going through divorce, going through being an empty nester, going through a lot of changes in my life, my weight was out of whack. My hormones were out of whack. Mm-hmm. I had high blood pressure. I have severe migraines since I was in high school. As a little girl, but mainly in high school and throughout my adult life, mm-hmm. I no longer have to take my migraine medicine. I was in the hospital 2 days out of the month, all the time, spending a lot of money at the hospital. Mm-hmm. Because I needed a shot to take away my migraines. I don't even get them anymore. I may get a headache here and there, but that's because I didn't drink enough water. I already know my body. And so stay hydrated, give them the chance. And let me tell you, I didn't exercise in the first 3 months that I was on Unimate, and it worked.
Yep.
No, we mentioned that. We don't want to, but adding exercise is just another benefit to the product.
Yep.
But when I say it works, it works.
It absolutely works. Yeah. And speaking of absolutely works, we got somebody here. I got to find the light, but we're going live, but I got Dexter right now. He's looking for the light. He is the handyman of the land. There we go. So now we got here. Cool. So yeah, come on through, Dexter. Got Mr. 10X Dex. He's going to jump in too. And that's the other thing is that, like you said, you didn't do the exercise, but your hormones were all out of whack, right? Because all the stuff you were going through. And if you really, really think about that, you got to think your hormones are your DNA. Sorry for the glare. Your hormones are, look, our light's back on. Your hormones are your DNA, right? And so that's what controls everything. If your hormones are out of whack, you can't expect to be feeling 100%. So when you take care of the hormones, you take care of your gut health, you restore that, your whole life starts to change. But people don't know that because they're just looking for that quick fix. And they really still believe that medicine is going to solve the problem, but it hasn't. And whenever I go live and I ask people and I say, okay, I'm going to ask you guys a question out there. For all of you who are taking medicine right now for high blood pressure, for type 2 diabetes, whatever ailments that you're taking, that you're going through right now, how many of your problems have been solved? And when I look at the live, there's no comments. There's nobody raising their hand. There's nobody that says me, nothing like that. Zero. And I said, and see, that's the biggest problem. But you still take it because you think that it's going to work. You're hoping, you're praying, you're wishing, and it's still not coming through. Now, let me just tell you about something that's going to actually help. And that's when they say, how long will I have to be on it? But that's just how people are sheep-like now.
Right. Yeah. Well, again, you can reach Coaching by Drake on all platforms. So if you want to reach out to Coach Drake, feel free to. Dexter Holiday, you are joining us finally.
Yeah.
Somebody that I have watched his physical transformation over the last year-ish. Amazing transformation, and he inspired me to actually get on board and do this. So tell us a little bit about you and your journey.
It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been rewarding. Results. People who know me, very factual, logical person, and results driven. I get in. When I do get in, I get in with both feet, hands, everything, and I'm all gas, no brakes. And since I started this journey, it was actually introduced to me. And well, let me just go back. I was sick, and it was introduced to me, and I says, "Let me try it." And I went all gas, 100 miles and running, and I got the results, and I got those results that I was looking for that I actually needed because, like I said, I was sick.
What exactly, when you say sick, what kind of ailments are we talking about?
Well, let's start at the top. I'm a male. There's a thing called ED, and most men know about ED and what that acronym is. It's erectile dysfunction, right? Which was, I wasn't completely out of gas, but I was on my way to being out of gas. So that was one thing. High blood pressure, cholesterol, sleep apnea, and high blood pressure, sleep apnea, A1C, diabetes, and cholesterol. Those were my main four, plus the ED as well too. And I had enough. And from some of the things that I heard, and I was taking meds. I was taking 3 of them, as a matter of fact, for my high blood pressure, and it just wasn't working. And I started off with 1, then I went to 2, and then now I was on 3. So it was just being masked. And as my pressure started to go up and up and up, more and more and more, I said, I mean, who knows? That next I'm gonna be on 4 and then 5, and I don't know how high it was going to go. So what I did was,
I don't know if a lot of people realize, but I personally went through a journey of my high blood pressure up and down and then getting on medicine. But I was at the ER, and they couldn't even get through 24 hours in the hospital, my blood pressure down at one point. And that was giving me the medicine through the IV and fluids. And they just said, you need to calm down. You need to just breathe and whatever. It wasn't until I started Unimate and did this whole program that I realized no medicine in the world at some point won't even help you.
right.
You have to be in control and fix your internal self, or else there may come a point when medicine isn't even going to help you.
Right.
And so take it back now. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Well, it's just like, on my videos, when I tell people you need to take back control of your health, there's this saying, you like go to the doctor and you fill out this paperwork, and, I've seen it recently, where they'll ask about your past, like ancestors. Well, hey, did your mother have high blood pressure? Hey, did your grandmother have high blood pressure? Did they have A1C, different things like that. And if you check that box, yes, then they look at it and they automatically say, well, if they had it, then you're going to have it, and I've proven that that's not true, because my grandmother was A1C diabetic, poking her, belly. She did the clear, she did the cloudy, she did all that. My mother, high blood pressure, cholesterol, she did all that, and, one thing that I've learned is lifestyle. Okay. I'm a big sports person. Okay. And I mean, I'm not talking negative about this guy or anything like that, because he is like one of my biggest fans, Charles Barkley. Everybody knows Charles Barkley. Okay. Charles Barkley keeps it 100. Okay. We all know during his basketball career, he had a lifestyle. He was working out. He was doing his thing. He was out there. He was killing it. Okay. And now look at his lifestyle now. He talks about how he eats and how he does certain things. And he has changed. his whole physical appearance has changed. But then, I look at other players and, they're doing their own thing as well too. So, I, look at their lifestyle, I look at his lifestyle, and I go, he's changed, just from his lifestyle and everything, So when I look back at my lifestyle now, I had to make some changes. And when I made those changes, I mean, this basically is the easiest thing that I've ever done, because for one, I didn't have to change my diet. Now there are some things that I did tweak a little bit, but I mean, as far as me eating or anything like that, nothing has changed. I just heal my body longer is what I do. I don't continue to do the snacking that I was doing before, because I mean, this is me, and this is probably what happens to other people. Whenever you go around your friends, you go to somebody's house. Most of the time, first thing they do, hey, can I get you something to drink? Hey, can I get you something to eat? And I mean, I was just eating just to eat. I wasn't even hungry, but I was eating because they gave me some nuts. I was drinking because they gave me this drink. And I mean, not that you have to say no, but I mean, today what I'll do, I'll go, you know what, I will take it. I'll take it, and I'll just save it for later, because people, they get offended if you don't take their food or whatever. But I mean, like I said, as far as a diet or anything like that, no diet, no exercise. That's my story. No diet, no exercise. I drive 11 hours a day. I drive a truck. That's why I'm late today and everything. And I hardly get any exercise. I go up and down, a truck. I get out to get fuel, but that's it. But, a lot of my stuff is healing and healing my body, going into those two modes. You got digestion mode, and then you got repair mode. And just that two combination, and what almost 70 pounds I lost.
And,
No,
and
I was
we can see it on your Instagram. What is your Instagram handle or your platforms? Because if you saw his transformation, you'd be amazed.
Yeah.
I've seen
10x Dexter.
10x Dexter. So
Yeah.
he's on Facebook under Dexter, 10x
Dexter
Dexter,
Holiday.
Dexter Holiday, Instagram, 10x Dexter, and go look at his transformation. It's amazing. We're also going to have this, all his contact information for both Dexter and Coach Tony. We'll have that up here as well.
Man.
And maybe we could have a collaboration, and I'll come to San Diego. I know I was going to fly in today, but I'm glad I did it because you were a little late, Dexter.
Oh, but I'm here though. I made it.
That's all that matters. And Coach Tony, he took it away.
There it is, Batman. Hey, I called Batman, and Batman came.
Appreciate you so much. He dropped some major nuggets. Anything in closing that you guys both want to let everybody know?
So here's the other thing I was thinking about too, is that, and we can always do a part 2, part 3, part 10. But the one thing is the transformation, the lifestyle change. There's people who are getting their toes removed, their leg chopped off, right? And now they're going blind, all because of the choices that they make. And when you see someone who's made a complete lifestyle change, like Dexter, like myself, like yourself, just ask. Just start by asking, what did you do in order for you to lose the 70 pounds, the 130 pounds? What did you do to get your energy back? What did you do to no longer have acid reflux, high blood pressure, GERD? What did you do? Well, I didn't take medicine. That's for one, right? Okay, that's great. Like, so tell me more, right? Because and let's be honest, nobody wants to look older than they are. Nobody wants to wake up saying, I want to get fatter. Nobody wants to say, I can't wait to get my leg chopped off, right? Everybody wants to feel healthy and better. So start asking. We have answers, and we can help. We can guide you. We know the exact solution to help you to avoid these situations, but you got to ask. We can't read minds, but we can definitely help you make that lifestyle change. So that's what I would tell people. I tell them that all the time.
I love it. And one thing that comes to mind is consistency. Anything in life you need to be consistent with. If you really have a goal that you want to get to, if you want to achieve weight loss, if you want to achieve getting off your medicines, you just want to grow. And I always tell my coaching clients, if it's not painful, if it doesn't hurt, if it doesn't feel uncomfortable, then you're not growing. If it's uncomfortable, keep going. You haven't even hit your max yet. So just keep going, because the fruits of your labor are just around the corner. Dexter, anything you want to say?
Just get started.
Yeah. That's it.
Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until after the holidays. Don't wait to talk to anybody. Just get started.
Right. That's all it is.
And so I'm here in Sacramento area. I plan on joining both Coach Tony and Dexter on this journey in helping a lot of people. I think it's important when you have a platform to use it to help a lot of people. And as you can see, everybody has a huge heart that's on here tonight, that we just want to help a lot of people and change their lives. So you're around for your kids and your grandkids and all of that. And make life better. You know, as you heard Dexter's story, ED is something that millions of people deal with. And it's embarrassing. It's not easy to come out and say, but don't you want to be a better partner to your person? And you can help by starting investing in you. And I'm telling you, this is a very small investment for what you pay for fast food, for all the pills that you're taking. You can get rid of all of that and make a lifestyle change and put more money in your pocket by doing so.
Right.
So with that, I look forward to coming back, and maybe we'll do a part 2 and just get on here and talk about, you know, what people need to know. And, you know, you can always write at askcindysoto@gmail.com all your questions. If you have any comments, make sure you put them in the chat. Make sure if you're watching this on replay, put replay. And we're going to get you over to Dexter, X10 Dexter.
10X Dexter.
10X Dexter on Instagram, and Dexter Holiday on Facebook. And then Coach Tony is Coaching by Drake on all platforms. So you can see any of us at Coach Cindy Soto on all platforms, including TikTok. I think, Tony, you're on TikTok as well.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no excuse. One of us can get you what you need. So just reach out and let's get it. Let's all get healthy together and spread the word and live a long, happy, healthy life.
That's right.
With that, I'm going to sign off.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys for being on.
Just get started.
Yeah, that.
Let's get started. Have a good night.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.